these are some of my favorite books, or just books that, I don't know, I read early on in my reading journey or when I was a lot younger and would just love to revisit for nostalgic reasons, or I don't really remember them, you know. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, technically 8 books. Like, half of them are series. So let's just get into it. So, one author that I haven't really talked about on my channel before. Oh, and by the way, you should check out channel memberships before I start this. I upload an exclusive video for members only every single week. There are book hauls there, sleepy videos, all sorts of stuff. So, yeah, check them out if you're looking for extra content. Okay. So this author, yeah, I haven't talked about him much on my channel because I read all of his books before YouTube, before I was like as crazy of a book lady as I am today. I've always been a reader though, like my whole life. This author of The Martian, this is his most well-known book because it was made into the movie The Martian. When was this? Let me see. This says now a major motion picture there. Oh my god, this feels so old now. Copyright 2011, 2014 by Andy Weir. So I wonder if the movie came out in 2014, because I think I read this when the movie came out, and then I saw the movie, which is why I have like the movie adaptation cover. But like, she looks a little rough. Like the pages are all like sun bleached. This book is loved, but yeah, I've only read this book once, and I truly do love sci-fi. I loved like the realism, like it's just his books, Andy Weir's books. Sorry, that's who it is. Andy Weir. He's just so smart, and you can like feel that in the books. And even though I'm not an astronaut, I'm not any sort of astrophysicist, like he makes you feel smart for reading his books. They are all sci-fi, by the way. So there's The Martian, and then Artemis. I think he only has like 3 main novels. This is Artemis. They're all standalones. This one too, look at how bleached that is. Oh my god. This one I also read right when it came out in 2017. So The Martian is about an astronaut who gets stuck on the astronaut base on the moon and has to survive there alone. And Artemis is about it's in the POV of a young girl who has grown up on Mars. Mars has a human base, and she's grown up there. And there's like rebels and that kind of story. I don't fully remember the story, but like I remember the vibes enough in my head. But I want to relive them. I want to reread all of his books. His third one, which I don't have the physical copy of, and I've been wanting to get the physical copy of for actual years now, but I just end up buying like new books that I just so good. I'm like, I need all of her books now. So, yeah. This is it's a fiction novel. I forget what people call fantasies, where it's like just a touch of fantasy. Like it's not magic. I forget what it's called, but anyways, Addie, she makes a deal with the devil because she doesn't like her life. She's like being sent off to marry this dude, and yeah, she ends up making a deal with the devil and doesn't, know what she's signing up for, and she ends up basically living forever. So she's born in the late 18th century, and it goes back in time, or between like then and now. And so the problem is that no one remembers her. She meets people, and then like they turn their back or turn the corner, and they're gone from her memory. She's gone from their memory, until one day in New York she meets this bookstore worker who does remember her. I love it. Okay. Next. This next one might seem a little bit random. I also don't think I've talked about this book before, but this is Life of Pi. Life of Pi, written by Jan Martel. And again, this is the film adaptation cover, because it was a movie. So I probably again read this like when the movie came out. Wow. Okay, so the book came out in 2001. Definitely did not read it then. Okay, so 2012. I think 2012. So around then is when I would have read this. That's a long time ago. But I freaking ate this book up. I read it so fast. It was just so like immersive and engaging. Like it was so simple. Like just this boy and a tiger. I don't want to give any spoilers for the book, but on this boat, and like it was just him on this boat this whole time, yet it was so good. Like I freaking loved it. I know not everyone has loved this book. Some people like found it boring, whatever, but no, I loved it. But again, I read it 12 years ago, so I would love to reread it now at this point in my reading journey and see, if it stands up, if it's as good as I remember it being in my head. Honestly, that's kind of the same for a lot of these, because all of these I read before diving into YouTube, and now reading. Like, I think I'm on track to read 80 books this year. Like before that, I was reading maybe 5 or 6 books a year. So, yeah, I think definitely my tastes and my, I don't know what to call it, like, not like intellectual, but like the way my brain, I feel, what am I trying to say? Could someone help me here? I feel like I read books differently now. Maybe a little bit more in tune, Okay. So the next series, I want to reread is A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. Now I know this isn't like the best fantasy series in the world, but yeah, I read this before it blew up, and it's been almost 3 years since I read this this series. So, and being in the book community and like on book talk and stuff everywhere all the time, obviously I see ACOTAR stuff every day, constantly. And to be honest, a lot of the stuff in the second and third books I don't remember. I feel like I remembered the first book perfectly, but the second two, they're just all vibes in my head. Like, I don't remember at all. So I wouldn't mind. I've heard that the audiobooks, that there are, what are they called? Like, oh shoot, like drama-sized, like dramatic readings. It's almost like listening to a movie of the series, that those audiobooks are very good. So I think I might listen to them that way, just to like refresh my memory on the series, so that when I like see stuff, I'll actually remember it. It seems silly, but also I do really like the series. The series holds a special place in my heart because I feel like the series and this book in particular is what really set me off on my new reading journey. So if it wasn't for this series, I don't know where we would be. But yeah, this is adult fantasy, fae, lots of smut, actually. Yeah, not like the worst for smut, but they're definitely. Oh, and this was the first book and first series I ever read that had spicy scenes and smut in it. So, imagine my surprise when I got to the first spicy scene. Yeah, I was not expecting it. I didn't know, guys. I didn't know. Okay. Next series. This next series is probably the earliest out of all of these, like, that I read. So this is Divergent, the Divergent trilogy by Veronica Roth. We're jumping back to the 2010s, dystopian era, the best book era in my opinion. Right along with Hunger Games. I would have put Hunger Games in this video, especially with, I forget what the new book is called. I'm so excited for Hamish's story, right? But that's coming out in March, I think. But I actually did reread Hunger Games. Oh my god, as I say that, I realized that I was like with my ex when I reread it, so that was like 5 years ago. Okay. Every time I think back, or when I think about when I reread Hunger Games, it feels like it was like months ago. No, that was now 5 years ago. Wow. But honestly, I feel like Hunger Games is always at the top of my brain, so I don't need to reread that one anytime soon anyways. But Divergent. Sorry, I feel like this video I'm going off on all these tangents, but I have not read the Divergent series since it came out and since it was huge. So I've only read this series once, and I gotta go back. I gotta dive back in. So I've had this series for what, like 12 years. It looks perfect. I guess I've only read it, used this once. 2011. Okay. I probably read these though as the movies were coming out, so I don't know when that was. Probably around 2012. But yeah. So yeah, this is YA dystopian kind of, not, I was gonna say kind of sci-fi, but I don't know, it just has that vibe in my head. But yeah, dystopian It's so good. One choice decides your friends. One choice defines your beliefs. One choice determines your loyalties forever. One choice can transform you. I would tell you what it's about, but I'm not going to describe the plot well because I don't fully remember, but they're like kind of like Hunger Games. There are different districts, and then don't you get like sorted into them though? I'm just gonna stop talking. It's so good. Okay. And the final series that I would like to reread that I haven't reread in forever is, and don't come for me, I have my reasons. It is Harry Potter. Now, Harry Potter is my OG. Like, jumping into books again, I've read my whole life, but reading Harry Potter, I think I did read it. I didn't read it in elementary school. I think I read it in grade 9, but that like started my first like real obsession. I was never really obsessed with like One Direction or Justin Bieber or any other kind of books or movies. Harry Potter truly was my first like love, and I was a very antisocial, awkward child, and Harry Potter throughout high school was what kind of like, you know, I had him to hold on to. So I will always love Harry Potter and hold these books close to my heart. This is the same copies that my mom bought me for my birthday, I think in grade 9. So I've had these a while. They still look really good though. But yeah, these will always hold a special place in my heart, and I would like to reread them because I haven't reread them for years and years and years. I feel like this time of year is a good time to reread them too, but I don't know when or if I will. I've just been like craving the nostalgia and magic that comes from these books because they're a part of my childhood, and that is that. So, thank you so very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Please let me know some other videos you would like to see on the channel. I'm sending you love and positivity. I was gonna say positive vibes and then